Hello, everybody. We are here today with a special occasion, a close friend of ours, Terry Carl. Hello, hello. And where are you at? You're traveling the country with your husband in a fifth wheel. And where are you at today?
We're in Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Super cool, super cool. You've been doing this for how many years now? It's been a little bit.
3.5 years.
Wow, longer than I thought. 3.5 years on the road, and you've consistently been getting readings before you even left when you told us about this idea, and now you've actually lived it for 3.5 years. Super super cool. They've got a YouTube channel called TK and Earl. If anybody wants to check that out. And Terry today is going to get a between lifetimes reading with us. Which do you want to say anything about that, or you want?
Sure. The Between Lifetimes reading, we actually uh, one of the people that we're getting readings from us. Her name is Devin. I think some of you know her. Know her. She's had the idea to do this in between lifetime reading because of the books that she'd studied and the work that she was doing. She thought it'd be interesting to know what is my experience in between lifetimes. And so we did it, and it was actually really powerful, and
Yeah.
it was brilliant. It was a brilliant question that she
Yeah.
had. And so we haven't done a ton of them, but we do them here and there, especially
We forgot to tell people. We have like 10 readings that are not on the list.
so also, I think it's something that you have to have other readings under your
Yeah,
belt to
yeah.
kind of grasp this one.
Right,
But
right.
it's basically, it describes what you do in between lifetimes, where you go, who do you hang out with, like whatever, it's just
Yeah.
everything. And then people ask questions, specific questions about their vibration or just different things. It just depends on the person. It's a very esoteric, etheric type of reading. I think, Terry, why are you drawn, I guess, to getting that kind of reading?
I would say for reasons that you talked about, where I've read books about between lives and the planning that goes on, and I've gotten a lot of the other readings, so this is also a fun new one for me. So I'm interested to see like that kind of difference with this one with the other ones that I've had.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So each reading, and if you're new to this, we've got lots of readings. We got past life readings, we got health readings, Dharma readings, prosperity and abundance, all these different readings. And as we all met through the School of Metaphysics, and we used their universal language of mind, even though we graduated and we're no longer part of that organization. We love what we learned, especially about dreams, a lot of things, but dreams in particular. And the universal language of mind, your if you dream about a house, you're dreaming about your mind. And these readings are all about learning about ourselves through different perspectives. And I had the thought one day that these readings, if you go back to that, your house, if you dream about a house, it's your mind. These readings are like looking in through different windows. And, because you get a different perspective on the house, right? And so that's kind of a neat analogy. I love analogies, and I love analogies that work like that with what we're doing. So I'm going to guide. So we were trained. Gobahar and I were trained to do these Edgar Casey style readings, and I'm going to guide her down to a deeper subconscious level here. So she was trained to do things in her mind to go to this level, and I'm going to help assist her to go to that special place where she's able to access the Akashic records and an individual's health aura, all these different types of things. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and get started here, and we get an awesome treat to get to see a between lifetimes reading for Terry Carl.
It's funny that
Yeah.
it's clear that you're a father, because you said an awesome treat,
An awesome treat. Yeah, well, hey, I like
a
awesome
little
treats.
reward.
I'm a dad.
Everybody likes treats.
Well, we'll get started here, find out a new perspective on Terry Carl. I want you to feel yourself going within. You're relaxing. You're relaxing. You're relaxing as you're drifting down, going down, drifting down, going down, drifting down, going down, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, drifting down, 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 going down, 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 deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper,
In a moment, I'll count backwards from 10 to 1. You'll follow me back. At the count of 1, you'll be completely relaxed and asleep in a deep and very restful level of sleep. At the count of 1, you'll be completely relaxed and asleep between the 4th and 5th levels of consciousness.
You're drifting down, you're going down, you're drifting down, you're going down, you're drifting down, you're going down, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, drifting down, 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 going down, 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 deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. Now follow me back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. You're completely relaxed and asleep in a deep and very restful level of sleep. You're completely relaxed and asleep between the 4th and 5th levels of consciousness. You're the reader of the Akashic records. You read them speedily and precisely. You pay no attention to any other noise. You pay no attention to any other voice. You'll search for the identity of the entity referred to as Teri Larissa Carl. You'll search for the identity of the entity referred to as Teri Larissa Carl.
We have this.
You will relate the between lifetimes spirit world activity and primary soul group interactions for this entity.
You see that this one has gone through many levels and layers of her experiences in between lifetimes. We see that in the more beginning stages of this one's evolutionary progression, a lot of the time spent in between lifetimes was an untangling of the prior lifetime, in which this one's guides would support this one to be able to become more objective about the lifetime and understand it from a soul perspective. This one then graduated into a group in which once this one disincarned, this one and the group that this one was a part of would spend long periods of time understanding and deepening the understanding of the prior lifetime together, and which the guides were there to support. However, these ones were also leading the process of assimilation. We see this as an important step in maturity as a soul and entering into adulthood as a soul. We see after this period of time, which lasted about 200 lifetimes, at that point, this one has entered into, which is the stage that this one is in now, in which in the lifetime after this incarning, this one will move through the step of assimilating and understanding the learning. And then based on what was learned and understood and what needed to be understood, whatever lessons were not fully grasped or things that this one was not able to fully develop, then the focus of the remainder of the time in between lifetimes is to create simulations where this one can practice and more quickly learn. Whereas when an individual is incarnate, it takes them a whole lifetime to go back to the perspective of learning and objectivity. And these assimilations are quickened experiences so that the learning can increase, and there can be more opportunity in having the experiences desired. What is understood in the inner levels is that learning and understanding, developing an understanding, requires practice and experience. And therefore, it is seen that when there is experience for a certain learning, for a certain skill set, then the individual can master it. And at the point of mastery, they can then go and apply it and actually have the full experience in the physical plane. We see after that period of time is complete, this one then enters into a council of light, which this one can decide to serve for either a few years or many years. The Council of Light is a council of spirit guides, and each Council of Light is connected to a specific soul group or soul collective in which they observe individuals on the planet, and they focus on certain skill sets that the individual is wanting to learn or move through. And their role, this one's role, is to be in the state of observation. Much of what this one did in those lifetimes in the in-between lifetimes is to observe. However, there have been times that this one has graduated into being able to come into etheric, from the etheric form into the physical form, and actually interact, communicate, and give information and guidance to the needs of the individual, even coming up as a person in the individual's life to help them move through a challenging time, or to help them manage the challenging time. We see this as a very advanced skill that is developed for those that have understandings in astral projection, and as well as telepathy, as well as clairvoyance and clairaudience. These skills are precursors to the skill of entering into the physical form as a physical being, however, being in the inner levels. We see that there are many individuals that this one interacted with that was more of a choice, and this can be described as an elective, where this one spent time with ascended masters, especially in the prior in-between lifetime. This one spent a lot of diligent time with the one known as Jesus the Christ, with the one known as the Buddha, with the one known as Lakshmi, and also Isis. And we see that these times were concentrated times where this one merged into their consciousness and had a real experience as regards to what they experience in their minds, in their consciousness, in their wholeness. So that once again, that level of experience can be something that this one can then be familiar with, that when she is in the physical world and progressing, she can become aware of that vibration and move towards it. And this then in many ways becomes a guiding light for the choices that this one makes in the physical plane of existence. We do see that there were periods of time of suspension where there was no movement, no activity, no thought. This was a deep period of stillness and no stimulus at all, no interaction, so that this one could also understand the nature of stillness, the nature of the void. And in that time, this one spent time in the void and experienced the void. We do see that the vibrational coloring that this one also often is in the inner planes is magenta and also light purple. We see this one often vibrates beyond 1,000 in the inner planes. And we see that a lot of the planets that this one interacted with and aligned with was Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter. We see there was a period of time where in the Council of Light, this one supported decisions of important happenings in the world and important challenges that were going on. And the Council of Light makes decisions if they should get involved, and in what way should they support. And one of the time periods that this one was in between lifetimes was during the time of Hitler. And we see that this one, the decision was made for these ones to enter into the concentration camps and assist the removal of souls that were there, that were suffering, to assist their removal from their physical bodies. And this was something that they really had to think about because they wanted to make sure that it wasn't intercepting their learning. However, what they recognized is that the learning had gone too far, and these ones had to intervene in that way to reduce suffering when these ones saw it as unnecessary or harmful. We see this one was part of those decisions to support those beings. These ones also spent a lot of time in those camps in support of those that were there. This is all.
Very well. What would be the significance of this between lifetimes activity to this one's fulfillment of her mission and purpose in this lifetime?
This one has gone very deep in her between lifetimes. This one has been able to progress quickly through the stages with it isn't the quickness is not as important as the dedication and the diligence through the stages to be able to obtain a type of omnipresence experience and to have skill sets that are similar to guides that are assigned to the inner planes. And therefore, in this lifetime, her fulfillment is very much in esoteric work, in alignment to the divine, in getting to know herself, her consciousness, understanding the psyche of the human body, human form, as well as the psyche of the soul. We see, therefore, intuitive work is very fulfilling for this one. It is aligning, it is as if this one is at home. And we see that embodiment practices are also very important because there's a tendency for this one to disassociate or want to be in the inner levels because it is more comfortable. This one has had more experiences there. There's a sense of freedom that she has even experienced. And therefore, one of her assignments and her tasks in this lifetime is to quite literally do the opposite, is to be in her body, to be embodied, and to be in ways in which she can really be in the physical world and experience what it is to be physical and to make physical choices even. And some of the challenges that this one at times experiences is this tug to be only in the spiritual realm. And a great lesson for this one in this lifetime is to be here in the now, and to recognize that the now is just as beautiful, just as great, just as profound as the experiences that she has been able to have in the inner planes of consciousness. A lot of this one's work in this lifetime is gathering people together in communion and connection to the divine. And we see that it is important for this one to know that the way that this one does it, the modality that this one utilizes, the how is not important. However, the work is, and there is fulfillment for this one in that layer and that level of work. We do see also this lifetime has been a lifetime of self-acceptance and allowance of her true self to come forward. And this is something that was decided by this one in between lifetimes with her guides, that she will have challenges and tragedies to provide her the inroads to a deep layer of self-acceptance and self-allowance. And we do see in many ways this one has been able to accomplish this very quickly within the past 10 years. And we see the more that this one can relax into her own process and to recognize that she has an infinite amount of time to be and align with who she wants to be. And the recognition that in that infinity, the infinite space, there is no place to actually go except exactly where she is, in the recognition that the chasing is not necessary and the being is, which is a lot of what this one did in the in-between lifetimes. Then this one will find true fulfillment and happiness. And the recognition is that this plane of existence is a plane of existence that this one has actually chosen because of the challenges that it holds, because it provides this one an opportunity to explore and have a contrast and have challenges and ups and downs so that there can be triumph. This is all.
All right, question time.
Whew. Well, that last part hit hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I had a question about my mom, if she's a guide and if she has a message for me.
And what is her name?
Natalie Carl?
Natalie Carl. When did she withdraw?
Oh, almost 5 years ago.
5 years? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Natalie Carl. Okay. This one's mother, Natalie Carl, withdrew about 5 years ago. Where is this one on the inner levels? And is she a guide for this one? Does she have any messages for this one?
We see that the one of Natalie Carl, the essence of that one, has just recently completed the movement of understanding her life, understanding her departure. This took a lot of time for this one to understand why she departed, why she left her daughters. This was although she was from the soul perspective, there was an enmeshment in the emotional in regards to her daughter specifically. And just recently, this one has found a relief. This relief occurred on April 8th, where there was a freeing of the judgments that she had around the departure, and she has understood it clearly. We see because of this, this one has graduated, and she is in the process of becoming a guide for her daughters specifically. And in that process, she is learning skills to be able to come and be present with them and actually communicate messages more consistently and clearly, and have a real life, real connecting experience where they can feel her more consistently. We do see that the message that she has is the distance between us is none. As you connect to your heart, I am there with you. And we see that she has a lot of gratitude for the one of Teri. She believes and wants to communicate that what Teri has been doing in the inner levels and in the physical has very much supported her to reach this state of graduated, which is giving her a lot of bliss and freedom that she never was able to experience in her physical life. She also communicates that the moment that she withdrew was one of the most freeing moments of her existence. This is all.
Interesting. Yeah, very cool.
Oh, thank you. It was mentioned that in between lifetimes, one of the things that I did was help relieve suffering. And I'm wondering what the best way is for me to do that incarnate in this lifetime.
What is the best way for this one to relieve suffering while incarnate in this lifetime?
We see by welcoming it in within herself from a perspective of love and understanding, and the recognition that part of suffering is necessary so that there can be love, there can be alignment. The suffering, the experience of it, the emotion of it, it is not what is the challenge. It is the idea that individuals have about it that make it challenging. And it is mainly in the physical body. We see for this one, initially it is in response to her own suffering as inevitable and part of the experience, including that, allowing that, experiencing it. And we see then this work, her own inner work, will be the beacon that will support the relief of suffering for others. We see that on the planet, there is a lot of contrast, and there is a division between those that are awake and aware of the illusion of the physical, and those that are enmeshed in it. Those that release themselves from the illusion of the matrix relieve their suffering. And to the degree that they can release themselves is to the degree that they are free from the suffering. Those that are not are recognize the pain because they see their physical existence as all there is. And it also experience entrapment in that physical experience. For this one, her relieving herself of her own entrapment and viewing her life as a simulation can support her in this process. This is all.
Okay.
Kind of related to the entrapment. I keep getting into situations where I feel like I've been in them too long and I feel trapped and can't get out. Is this karma? And are there any suggestions?
This one continues to find herself in situations where she feels like she's trapped and can't get out. Is this karmic? And any suggestions for this one?
We do see that karma is the opportunity for understanding, and it is a debt that this one owes to herself and to the universe. The situations that repeat themselves in which this one feels trapped are two layered. We see on one layer, the entrapment is the thought that she is trapped. And if she can free herself from that thought, she is free from the entrapment on one layer. And the next layer of it is that in any situation, and if this one would reflect on other situations, that it has a beginning and an end. And if something is an ending, it is because something else needs to be received from that experience. The more that this one surrenders herself to it and fully receives and understands it, she will then be able to find her way out of it as well. Having the perspective that it actually doesn't matter if she gets out of it or not. That because the reason for that is that it is all part of her experience. It is necessary for her experience. And therefore, as she surrenders to the necessity of it and really aligns with why she's where she is and what she can gain and directs her energy to what she can control in her situation, she will free the energetic movements of the universe so that they can actually align with her and help her to manifest a different experience altogether. This one becomes somewhat solid in the experience, and that is the entrapment. This is all.
Okay.
Let's see.
We do see an antidote to this. It is being given as gratitude. The immense and very focused, very diligent, very consistent practice of gratitude. This is all.
Oh, good one. Are there other versions of me in other dimensions existing now, and can I connect with them?
Are there other versions of this one now existing in other dimensions? And is it possible for this one to connect with them?
We do see that there is another version of this one that is parallel to her now in a different dimension. This is in the 10th dimension. We see that this version of herself is very free from worry, free from fear, and open to her own fears and difficulties and challenges in a way that is freeing her. This one has been trying to connect with her, and she does have a message, and the message is lean into the emotions that are most troubling. They are your key to freeing yourself from them. And it is seen that the connection can happen through tarot readings, tarot cards, focusing and concentrating on her third eye. And her dreams. This is all.
Dreams.
What is her name or its name?
What is its name or her name?
Astara.
We
There's very long hair that is braided. She wears very freeing clothing. She's a musician. She's single. She travels. She spends a lot of times in festivals. And she dances a lot. So
Okay.
Are there any further suggestions about how to connect with Astara through cards?
And cards, you mean
Like tarot and oracle cards?
arrow and oracle card? Any suggestions on connecting with this one through the use of tarot cards or what was the other one?
Oracle?
Oracle card.
see, to take time to set a very clear, loving, heartfelt intention to connect with herself, to her own heart. And from that space of connection, to know that the doorway to the connection to Astara is through her heart, and that the cards are a conduit and will direct her attention so that she can receive what is wanting to be communicated. This is all.
All right.
Can I just also ask what the 10th dimension is?
What is the 10th dimension?
We see that it is a more evolved, higher vibrational dimension that is also on the planet Earth, that is accessed by a certain group of individuals that have been able to develop the consciousness to be there. This is all.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Any further suggestions for this one at this time?
It is important for this one to remember her progress, remember her past as her backbone, as what is supporting her, as what is loving her. It is important for this one to get excited and inspired about her current conditions, as they are the perfect conditions that can launch her into the self and the experiences that she desires. It is important for this one to be grateful for her breath, for her heart, and for her body. And it is important for this one to remember that she is loved. This is all.
Very well. You'll relax and be at peace. In a moment, I'll count upwards from 1 to 10. As I count upwards, the body process will begin speeding up. At the count of 7, they will have returned to normal. At the count of 7, you may be aware of other noises between around you. At the count of 10, your eyes will be open. Your attention will immediately be drawn into the physical. Your body will be completely relaxed, refreshed, and re-energized, and your mind will be alert and mentally keen. I want you to start deep breathing now. With each deep intake of breath, the medulla oblongata opens like mouth, allowing the cosmic energy to flow in. With each outpouring of breath, the medulla oblongata closes, and the subconscious mind directs cosmic energy throughout the physical system. Subconscious mind will direct extra cosmic energy to the areas of the hypothalamus, thyroid, pituitary, and pineal glands for balance within the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical system. 3 deep breaths. Follow me up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Welcome back. Very cool. So for those that don't know, Gulbahar has no recollection of anything that occurred right now, but Teri and I know, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah, that was special. The connection with your mom, and there was some really good stuff there.
Yeah, I always wonder if they're gonna say anything because I know I mean, she's not me, but she's a part of me, really. So I'm always like, is that gonna be okay? And then it's nice. I feel like I'm getting updates on her like each time because I've been asking a few times about her, and it's neat to see her progress.
Yeah, yeah, that is really fascinating. My family had not totally 100% understanding all these readings and that, but when my mom passed away almost 2 years ago now, all of a sudden my dad became very interested, and we were able to we don't really advertise that, and we don't really know what we're going to get. Sometimes we don't get very much at all. However, we were able to get messages about my mom, and like you said, that progress report was kind of comforting. So
Yeah, it was really helpful.
yeah. So my mom accepted a position with the Council of Light. So I guess they
No
had
way!
it open. It's so cool to hear these things. It's like, so the Council of Light sends light to areas of the world that need light. And guess what? She chose that position. Maybe it was part-time. I don't know. But so she could, with that position, she could still be like a family guide and kind of have a connection to our family still here on Earth. So it offered those opportunities. So
Who
they're,
knew the inner levels work
Yeah.
like the corporate world?
yeah. I guess her resume, I don't know.
Do they
Just
get a
kidding.
401k?
Did they? Right. But one of the other really cool things I've heard from these readings, specifically with my mom, was the statement that very early on, it was probably the first time that my dad said, "Hey, can we try to connect?" There was something that said, "This one has surrendered to the guide that was offered to her," and that sped up the process. Well, it makes sense. Surrender, probably, fighting. No, we don't want that one. No, next. So
Takes
so
longer.
I thought so this idea that this acceptance, this surrender is beneficial on this side as well as the other side too.
Yeah, like we're not that different than we think we are. And we
Yep.
are very different, but in some ways it's still, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's still learning and growth.
Yeah, for sure.
And we still have choice. We still have choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Anything else stand out to you, or any other final thoughts you want to share? Thanks again.
Yeah, just the was it Ashtara alternate other version of me I thought was interesting because I've kept my hair short for a really long time and I've kind of decided to go long, and I just had this strong feeling when it's long enough I'm gonna braid it.
Ah,
So when they said like she has a one long braid, I think is what they said, I'm like, maybe I'm kind of connecting with her, like
Wow.
I'm trying to merge with her in some way. And she likes to travel and she likes to dance. Like, sounds like I would really like her. Like, we'd be good friends, yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, super cool. Well, awesome. Thank you again for letting us do this. And this was a between lifetimes reading, which is a very, very special one. It's a very unique perspective on ourselves, and all of these readings give us these different perspectives. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. This reading, as Gomar was saying, was someone had the idea for this reading that said, "Hey, could you do this?" And we love that. If you've got an idea for a reading, we've done shamanic readings. We've done a lot of different readings that were other people's ideas. So thanks a bunch, Teri, and we'll sign off.
For having us.
yeah, and then thank you, everybody.